All stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good afternoon, everybody. Has this meeting been published in reference to the Open Public Meetings Act?
Yes, Chairman, it has.
Can I have a roll call of commissioners?
Commissioners Davis. DeWise. Fisher. Grillo.
Present.
Parikh. Roberts.
Here.
Scott.
Here.
And Chairman Zabrowski.
Here. Thank you, Jamie. Minutes for the November 13th, 2025 meeting has been distributed. Are there any need for edits or changes to the minutes? If not, can I have a motion to accept?
I will make a motion.
Second? Anybody?
Second.
Roll call.
Commissioner DeWise.
Yes.
Fisher. Grillo.
I was not present, but I did read them and I will vote yes. I think you can if you've read them.
Mike?
Does it matter?
We have a, no.
Parikh. Roberts.
Yes.
Scott.
Yes.
And Chairman Zabrowski.
Yes.
Thank you.
With the attorney's permission, I'm going to move up the planner's report because Vina's leaving us at 7 o'clock for a better date, I guess. So Vina, planner's report.
Good evening. So with the current studies and plans that I'm working on, I just presented the Crossman Street and Main Street study area that was approved by the planning board. A recommendation was made for the area to be designated as an area in need of redevelopment to the council. The next one that I have is I have completed the former Sunshine Biscuit redevelopment plan. I had sent my draft over to CME. Justin has reviewed it and offered some minor tweaks. So that plan is ready to go in front of the council at the January meeting. We purposely delayed it and not had it presented in December so that the ordinance gets adopted in the same year and it's not carried over to the next year. Now, the next I will be working on is the TOA plan because I know Mike and I had spoken about it. We would make that a priority by the end of the year. So, Mike, I will be reaching out to you and start working on that plan. At the same time, I'm also working on the Ernston Road redevelopment plan because there is a property owner interested in redeveloping. So we will be putting up the plan together for that site too. And actually that's perfect timing because a lot of transit-oriented development is also happening on the other side of Ernston Road. So this would be perfect timing to have the plan in place. I also have authorization, I believe, from the council to start working on the transit village plan and designation, the area around Parkway, bus terminus, and we had a very good meeting with NJ Transit. We got a letter of support from them. So that will be another study that I will soon start. So beginning of this year, I at least have 4 projects that I will be working on simultaneously. But I think the first one to go in front of the council will be the former Sunshine Biscuit redevelopment plan.
Any questions for our planner? Thank you, Vina.
Thank you.
On to our attorney's report, Mike.
Thank you, Chairman. I just wanted to address resolutions A and B for the commissioners. Resolution A involves the self-storage facility at the former Club Pure site. Process-wise, when the project is completed and it's received a CO from the borough, the agency then gets to do its final check to make sure that the development has met all the conditions of the redevelopment agreement. So the agency engineer reviews it, the agency attorney reviews it, and the agency CFO reviews it to make sure that all the payments have been made. All the payments have been made, and agency engineers reviewed and signed off on it, as have I. So by approving the certificate of completion, it means the project is done. After the final bill is paid out of the escrow, the balance of the escrow is returned. And the best news is that they have to start making pilot payments to the borough. So they'll be making them on a quarterly basis. And Hamantra has put into place a process where we remind the town's tax office and finance office that they should be on the lookout for the pilot payments in the next quarter. The next item, item B, is the second time we're seeing one of these items. It's part of the process for the Riverton project development. In the redevelopment agreement, we wanted to be sure that the pace of the development that benefits the developer finishing their project also kept pace with the infrastructure and amenities package that we require them to make, so that every time they embark on a new area, they have to tell us what part of their infrastructure and amenities package they are allocating to that site. So it gets an engineering review, a legal review, and then it goes on your agenda, and you will probably see maybe 10 more of these over the next 10 years. That's it, Chairman.
Any questions for our attorney? Not? Moving on, engineers report, Justin. Questions or comments for our engineer? No? Moving on, executive director's report.
Jack, well,
Zach?
Good evening, everybody. So point one on the executive report, the Sarah website and digital presence. Kevin has worked really hard on creating another page on the website that includes all the designated areas in need of redevelopment throughout the borough, along with all the information on the active redevelopment projects in Sayreville. The page serves as a centralized resource for both residents and developers seeking to learn more about the agency's initiatives. Its purpose is to enhance transparency, increase public awareness, and support the marketing of redevelopment opportunities to potential partners. The page is available on the Sarah website under the Redevelopment Projects tab. Point two, Sarah is going to be making a payment to the borough this evening. It's in the bill list. It's a payment to the borough in the amount of $56,231.27 to assist in covering the cost of a forensic review of the agency's financial operations from 2019 to 2023. The borough commissioned this review to verify Sarah's financial health and ensure that all expenditures and revenues were properly documented. And as confirmed by our most recent audit, Sarah remains in strong financial standing. The business support position, the agency is going to move forward with creating a business support position designated to assist new and existing businesses in navigating the various borough departments. A draft job description and posting have been circulated to the commissioners for review. Commissioners with suggested revisions to the position description can relay them to the Sarah staff. The position is probably going to be advertised before year end, and hiring will most likely take place in 2026. And then we have an update on the Hercules Arsenal site. This week, the Sarah chairman, executive director, and staff met with representatives from Hercules to discuss marketing strategies for the site following the announcement of the plant closure. The closure makes an additional 156.86 acres available for potential redevelopment. Combined with Section 2, which is 123 acres, Section 3, which is 125.56 acres, and Section 4, which is 152.86 acres, the site now offers a total of 401.22 acres for development, with a potential of up to 2,625,200 buildable square feet across 13 buildings. Hercules is actively marketing the property through its agent at CBRE. The chairman and executive director have requested more frequent updates and have reaffirmed the agency's support in these efforts. Sarah has also communicated that its preferred redevelopment concept for the site is the establishment of data centers or chip manufacturing to support the expanding AI economy. That's all I have.
Thank you, Zach. Mancha, do you want to expand at all on the Sarah payment, number 2?
I think the borough has, when, I guess when I came on board, I think back then we had seen the financial records were not, proper. There were checks in the boxes. There were permits not processed. There were issues, and mayor was very concerned, and they had requested a review of the Sarah financial. Everybody pretty much cooperated. There were a couple of people, the company, the firm that hired to do the study did not get full cooperation, but they had enough cooperation. And a forensic review took place further just to make sure that there was no real impact, financial impact. There was no missing money. There were no, inappropriate action by the Sarah from, I said, 2020 to 2023 period. The original proposal was about, I believe it's about $40,000, but it substantially increased because they had to hire forensic auditing firm and outside help to evaluate some of the issues that was percolating, were talked about, and henceforth, when the final bill came through to support, and remember, this is, although borough authorized this, borough wanted to do that, and I think rightfully so, it was about Sarah's financial. And when amount was substantial, I thought it was appropriate that Sarah supports borough in payment of these bills. And that's why we have included and we have funding in our budget. So we said we will support borough. There's a lot of things borough supports us. And so this is a mutual, working with the borough and us together. And so I felt appropriate to fund this money, appropriate this from our funds, and help out paying those bills.
Just to be clear for the record, so this is what are you messing with me tonight for? Is it your last meeting and you're gonna mess with me? This is a reimbursement of expenses that the borough's already incurred?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Well, yeah, I had the observation that the page was not completed yet. I thought it had some content on it prior, so I wasn't sure if it was just a missing page link or not, but it was the work you were doing, and I think it looks wonderful. It is a great positive step into transparency and sharing and information, and thank you for all your effort. It looks great. Thank you.
And you had a question besides? No? Donna, or no?
Did I have another question besides that?
Yeah.
For the website? Oh,
Executive Director.
for the, no, I do not. I do not.
Go ahead.
So I know it's specifically referenced in the report for the Hercules and Arsenal site, the interest in data centers, but I don't think that's going to be the last site where there's an interest in data centers. Maybe the executive director and his team could have or try to find someone who may be an expert actually in data centers. There's a significant draw on not only electricity, but water. That seems to be the new major issue with these facilities. Given that we have a pretty substantial water source that we own as a town, it could be impacted by this, right? We don't know. So maybe in the first quarter of next year, if there's someone within the state that's an expert on this, it would be interesting to learn more, because I think Sayreville has a future with data centers, and I think we could all stand to benefit a little bit from the pros and cons.
Thank you, Steve. I think it's an excellent point, and in fact, we are looking into finding somebody with an expertise, not specifically data center, but what we have learned over the last 6 months trying to attract data center is that, and exactly what you said, the problem is the power and the water. Now, we do have sufficient resources based on the business administrator's communication that the water, we should be able to provide sufficient gray water to the facility. But the biggest problem is power, and it's getting more and more interesting to learn. Complication with the power, multiple state agency, federal agency involvement. So what we, in our discussion is that we want to look for somebody who has expertise in power, retain them to assist us how we can resolve the power. You know, like an idea, if the data center is built on this Hercules site, for example, we do have a couple of power generations in town. How can we tap into that? Or can we provide incentive to the developers to build data center and on the property, build the power to supply that? Is it possible? Sometimes you hear yes, then other time you hear it's impossible. It's going to take many, many more years to get an approval process, which is likelihood. Now, what surprises me is that you look at this, and we're hoping that somebody can bring some support from the state, because other states are far ahead of us in this process. The data center is being built in Midwest on farms and everywhere, and I'm saying how they get generating power. I happened to run into Mayor of Piscataway. I asked him because Piscataway already has several data center, and there's large data center coming. And you know, what he found out that Piscataway is served by Public Service, Electric and Gas, PSE&G. We're served by JCP&L. Also learned something that makes no sense, but that, you know, JCP&L will commit a date, and developer must start that date for $1,000, some crazy idea, $1,000 a day penalty to developers for not starting on them, you know, while they sometimes will not meet the deadline, no impact to them. So these are all complications that we are understanding, and we thought it would be a good idea. And I think we have one lead that we're going to pursue them. They are in the power business, so we're going to pursue them to see if we can retain their services to assist us. And so it's good timing for your questioning, and it should happen in first quarter of 2026.
Yeah, I think it's really important because we call this the first generation, right, of these data centers. Most of them are in the Midwest or in the Rocky Mountains because there's tons of available land. But the flip side of that coin is you don't have the same type of energy generation unless you have hydroelectric. But also, they're too far from the markets that need it, right? The financial markets are on the coasts. And so even if it's 100th of a millisecond, that is too slow for a lot of these data transactions. And so suburban communities with large industrial tracts, sounds familiar, are ideal for the second generation of this. But I think what we need, to Himanshu's point, is some sort of cheat sheet template, right? So that we know that when a developer comes in that's interested in this, we can check off those boxes and say, yes, we're suited to this, no, we're not, or we need A, B, and C to make this project happen. But it's just an industry that's incredibly unique and requires an enormous amount of knowledge. So I think we're absolutely on the right track to try to get smarter about this.
Thank you. Of requirements, the big area was the area around Washington, D.C. And I think that's going to keep expanding and everything. And I'm involved in that. And so I have an expert or two that I'll put in touch with you also, if that's okay with you.
Bring anybody that we can bring on to see, we like to meet at least 2 or 3 people to understand and retain. So thank you for that.
This is a cool thing. I'm really happy that we're doing that. Beats the hell out of warehouse.
And I do want to thank Hercules as well, because that was a very collaborative meeting that we had yesterday. And there was clear indication that they would partner with us to be able to find suitable developers for that tract, which is now growing by another 124 acres because of Section
closing.
4, the plant closing. So it was a good conversation, and we look forward to more of those and what's to come in next year. Okay, now, go ahead.
Chairman, if I may. The conceptual building plan that they provided us, we included in that. And there are things, we learned in the meeting from them that there's a lot of misinformation went out about they pulled out from Trammell Crow's not continuing with them. We learned some of those, and I think we came to understanding to have a mutually keeping each other updated on that. So it was really a good meeting.
What, I didn't hear what you said about Trammell Crow.
Well, Trammell Crow, remember there was a third phase, or I think a second building that they were supposed to continue. Apparently, they decided not to continue that. And so there is one area that I have really concerned, and I wanted to make sure that the road that's supposed to be built connecting from to Journey Mill Road is not getting done. Hercules has promised that whoever will come in will finish the road. So we have some good mutual understanding developed in the meeting.
We talked about, that road was agreed upon 3 years ago, I bet it was, that we approved about that road.
Agreed to build, he was allowed to build the first two buildings without building the road, and was conditioned, the third building was conditioned on road. Could be, he decided, I don't want to build the road, I'm pulling out.
So wait, it wasn't 3 buildings, it was sections, right?
Sections.
Right, let's be clear on sections, because there are 3 buildings already there.
Before
Before moving to the next section. Thank you.
I think it was Section 3, even though that would be it was the
Right,
second phase, but Section 3.
exactly.
They kept it confusing, yeah.
Of course, because we always have to be as confusing as possible. We're fixing that.
We're trying. All right, on to authorization of payment of bills. So total amount, $117,668.87, breaking down as operating total of $88,714.12, and our escrow total of $28,954.75. Any questions or comments related to payment of bills? If not, can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Is there a second? Roll call?
Commissioner DeWise. Fisher. Grillo.
Yes.
Parikh.
Yes.
Roberts.
Yes.
Scott.
Yes.
And Chairman Sabrowski.
Yes.
Thank you.
On to number 11, we have a discussion this evening on the Riverton Development Area Bonds, and I believe that's our bond counsel, Matt Jessup, that will be coming up to
And
discuss
also
further.
we have a bond counsel for Riverton present too.
Hey, Matt, I think a number of us haven't had the opportunity to see you in person. Also, if you could just introduce yourself. please.
Yeah, I was going to start there, Chairman. So good evening, everyone. Matt Jessup from McManaman, Scotland and Bauman. We are your bond counsel. And as you just mentioned, I don't think I've been before you since 2021. It's been a long time. It's good to be back, and it's good to be talking about progress on this project. Before I get into the specifics of the actual resolution on your agenda for tonight, let me maybe very briefly start in 2021 when we last met. When the agency, the borough, and the redeveloper were negotiating the terms of the Riverton project back in 2021, one of the things that the parties agreed on was that the agency would issue non-recourse redevelopment area bonds to fund certain infrastructure and public improvements at the redevelopment project. Now, importantly, non-recourse means that the bonds are not a debt or an obligation in any way of the borough of Sayreville. So the borough's budget, the borough's taxing power, the borough's cash flow are not remotely impacted or related in any way to this proposed series of bonds, these non-recourse redevelopment area bonds. Similarly, CERA, the agency's general revenues, and any revenues other than a specific defined set of revenues that I'll talk about in a minute, none of those are pledged to the bonds, can be used to repay the bonds. You have no obligation from any other funds to repay bonds other than from a specific set of special assessment revenues that I'll describe in another minute. So non-recourse, very important term from our perspective, both as your council and of course for the benefit of the public, right? The municipal's budget is not impacted or touched. Your general budget is not impacted or touched.
Matt, you're stating that, and I would like John Drakovich, the bond counsel for the Riverton, also make a statement that other than the specific revenue, this is not an obligation of Sarah or an obligation of Borough of Sayreville.
Correct.
In the future, because this is, when I learned about this bond issue, it was only $4 million roughly. We are now talking about $200 million at the end if we continue the process. They're not going to be issued one time, but I want to make sure that it's on the record that your recommendation, both of your recommendation, that there is no exposure to the borough should Riverton decided not to continue build, defaults in any different circumstances, that the bondholder will not be coming to Sarah or to the borough to collect the money.
That is correct. And John, I'll give you the mic in just a second. I just want to add to that, that not only will all of the bond documents, which you have not seen yet, but when we go to do a bond issue, they state that bold, all caps letters, right? We make it as obvious as we can in the bond resolution, in the trust indenture, in the offering document. But to your point about, saying it here, we also deliver a legal opinion that specifies exactly what, the bondholders can and cannot look to in terms of their repayment. So all of that is put on the record multiple times. And I am confident that Mr. Drakowitz will add on to that.
Thank you. I think it's important that commissioner who is, going to be voting on approving such a large amount, that they're comfortable. That's the reason I want to make sure that it's on the record.
And John Drakowitz from the Gibbons Law Firm, counsel to the developer as bond counsel. Yes, Matt is obviously 100% correct in his statements. Just wanted two additional items to mention. Again, non-recourse to the borough and to Sayreville. That's the key word for sure. And the $200 million of debt really would be issued over probably a 15 to 18-year time frame. So the first issuance is contemplated for the spring of 2026, around $4 million. And then the next phase will be contemplated in 2028. And I think the last phase is contemplated like in 2035/2037. So it's over a long period of time. And as Matt Jessup already described, a lot of those are, none of those items will be for amenities, repayment to the borough for certain payments that were made previously. So there's a whole litany of items that will be utilized that money for over this 15 years so time frame. But I do want to reiterate one more time, as Himanshu stated, it's very clear to note that it's non-recourse, and the documents that were already signed back in 2021, the special assessment agreement, the redevelopment plan, et cetera, they really all also contemplate that these will be non-recourse type of activities. And the bond documents will say that as well. And also one more item to note, each time that Matt Jessup comes back here presenting a bond document to you guys for one of those series of bonds, he'll be back again for what's called a bond resolution to adopt an indenture. So you're not just saying today we're doing $200 million of bonds. We want that approval from local finance board where we have to go to. But each and every time your agency would issue bonds, Matt Jessup's firm, McManaman, Scotland, Bauman, will be actually here to present that each and every time. So you'll have additional votes to make on it. This particular vote is only for the filing of the application. But when you do the bonds themselves, Matt Jessup will be back here explaining each and every time. So non-recourse and the initial issuance around $4 million. Thank you.
So just to clarify that the resolution doesn't talk about $200 million, but the application to the local finance board, which you will get a copy, it just was completed today, but we'll be distributing that copies. That copies clearly indicate that not to exceed $200 million.
Sure, certainly. So let me pick up on something that John had mentioned. So these non-recourse redevelopment area bonds are being issued to fund infrastructure and other public improvements. There is a delineated list of improvements in the documents that were agreed to and signed in 2021 by the agency, by the developer, and by the borough that describes what those improvements are, right? They're roadway improvements, they're parkway improvements, they're waterfront promenade improvements, they're infrastructure improvements, stormwater, all of those types of things, right? Performing space, art space improvements. So each series of bonds, when they get issued, will fund one or more of those improvements as they are being constructed and developed, obviously, as John mentioned, over a multi-year period. These bonds will be secured, that is to say that the payment that will be used to repay bondholders is limited to special assessment payments that are being made by the developer to the agency for the benefit of bondholders. Think of this project at the sort of highest level as producing two revenue streams. One is the pilot and tax revenue stream that the borough will benefit from. That's the pilot, the payment in lieu of taxes. That's land taxes. That's the hotel tax. That's the school surcharge. That's the $450 million or so that the project is expected to generate for the benefit of the borough. Separate from all of that revenue is untouched by these bonds. Separate from all of that revenue, and on top of all of that revenue, the developer will also make these special assessment payments in order to pay debt service on the bond. So it is additive to the benefit that the borough is getting. The special assessments are on the certain improvements, retail improvements, the residential improvements, the units, right, multifamily, the townhomes, and they're computed on a per square foot basis. And the amount per square foot, for example, Bass Pro Shop, 50 cents per square foot, goes up every single year. Retail, $2.75 per square foot, goes up every year. So we have a fixed and defined amount of revenue, again, over and above what the borough is going to get, that can be used to pay debt service and will be used to pay debt service on the bonds. Those special assessment payments, that revenue is the only revenue that bondholders can look to in the event of non-payment. They can't come to the borough. They can't come to the agency for other revenues that you happen to have available or generated from other projects, from operations, et cetera. They can only come to for those special assessment payments. Where we are tonight, you have a resolution before you that would authorize an application to the local finance board, which is a state agency in Trenton that has to review these types of financings before we can move forward. The only thing the resolution does is authorizes the agency to submit an application to the local finance board. From there, we and your other professionals will finish preparing the application. We will submit it to the board. We will appear before the local finance board. We will explain the details of this transaction, similar to what you're hearing tonight, perhaps with a little more discussion on the actual project itself, because unlike you who live it every day, the board is not going to be as familiar with this project. We would get our findings, our approvals from the local finance board, and then we would come back before you, as John mentioned, for a vote to actually authorize the first tranche of bonds. And as I understand it, that first tranche might be about $4 million. And ultimately, we go into tranches over time, every 2 to 3 years. After the first tranche, I think the minimum tranches are about $10 million or more. There's probably 7 or 8 or more of them over the next 15-year period. In each case, that bond issue will be tied to a specific set of special assessment revenues that will be used to repay those bonds. Once you adopt, if and when you adopt that resolution, then we are authorized and can actually issue those bonds, generate proceeds, and the developer can use them to fund the improvements that are listed in these agreements.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You know,
One thing, you'll be seeing more of that over the next 15 years.
Sorry to say.
Chairman, this is an important project for the borough. And now that you hear the testimony of both our bond counsel as well as the Riverton Bond Council, I recommend council adopt this resolution so they can move forward with the funding of these improvements.
Like any other comments that you'd like to make?
The only other comment is I believe out of the first tranche, we're repaying the debt to the county. So there's an outstanding obligation to the county of some $3 million. Plus the county funded over $30 million for the purchase of the property. At closings, they got back all but about $3 million of it. So the commitment to the county was you get your money back out of this first.
Well, there was certainly a lot of discussions. Is there anybody from the commission that has any questions? Go ahead, Steve.
Really, just out of curiosity, how long does the process take from tonight through the local finance board to when you actually apply to draw down the funds?
So I would say just as a general matter, 6 months. In our case, maybe it gets done in 4 or 5, months, but we'll make application later this month. Presumably we'll be on the January LFB date. The board meets once a month. They make their decisions right then and there. So it's not a long or deliberative process. And then we would come back to you, perhaps at that point, February, for authorization to issue the bonds. And then we go through the actual bond sale and closing process. Let's call that, 60 to 90 days. So you're probably into, April at that point, April, May. Sure.
Go ahead.
I do have a question about how the procedure occurs on this board as opposed to on the council. Because when a bond is presented on the council, it's introduced and then it's adopted 2 weeks later. Is that the same process here once the bond comes through, or is it a resolution here that only takes 1 meeting?
Yeah.
We do resolution, the council does.
Correct, Councilman. That's a great question. And you're absolutely right? When Sayreville wants to do a bond ordinance, it's 2 meetings, publication, 20 days, no local finance board approval in between. Typically, right? There are exceptions, but typically. Authorities, which the agency obviously is one of, operates under a different statute than the local bond law, which is the law that municipalities operate under. And in this particular case, there's 2 real changes. One is we do 1 resolution at 1 meeting. And 2, we have to go before local finance board to get it approved before we can move forward.
So after the local finance board, when it comes on the next agenda, it will be on the next agenda for the final vote.
Correct. As a resolution for the only vote. Correct. As a resolution.
Okay.
For that tranche.
And we usually get what's on the agenda very close before the meeting. Is there any way that we might be able to get these, the details for the bonds when they're ready rather than waiting for the package to be delivered to us?
The resolution will spell out, it will authorize, you will be authorizing us to go out and issue bonds. So that night, you will be authorizing that. Once the bonds are, it goes in public auctions or private, this will be a private sale. On the closing document, certainly on the following meeting, when it actually occurs, you will get a copy of those. But it's not the next meeting when you approve the actual sale process that it will not have the information.
See, and the other process question would be, this is a resolution unlike the ordinance. So it is final for whatever is in that bond.
This is a resolution to authorize us to go to the local finance board to apply for the approval. The agency will review this just like you. They will have their questions. Without their authorization, we can't go out for to issue that. So this is, all we are doing tonight is authorizing Matt to present this to the local finance board.
Right, and I'm just going down.
It's not a final step. It's just step one. We can have multiple
But I think
steps.
in reference to Donna's question, I think she was trying to rough out what steps 2, 3, and 4.
Right,
The-
because
the-
they are different from what I'm accustomed to at the council. Mike, maybe you would be best to describe it, or.
Matt will-
Matt?
Sure. So.
Refer to Matt on that.
Okay, sorry, thank you.
Certainly. So after we get local finance board approval, we anticipate that approval will be for all of the bonds over all of the tranches that John and I have both mentioned, right? Up not to exceed $200 million of bonds, up over a 15-year time period, for example. That will be the approval the board will give us. But when we come back to you, let's say in February, you will have before you a resolution that authorizes the issuance of, let's just say, $5 million of these non-recourse redevelopment area bonds. You will consider that resolution. It is a resolution like any other, so it is one night, one vote, effective immediately. And once that resolution is adopted, we will then be able to go over the next, let's call it 90 days, and do all of the things it takes to sell and issue and close that $5 million bond issue.
And the items that are going to be addressed in that bond to be used for it, that's all covered in the bond resolution. There's not an
Correct.
independent, because the way the council works, there would be a resolution itemizing what was being used in the bond. So that does not happen here. It's just one resolution. We approve the going out to bond, and whatever is in the bond ordinance is taken care of also, all in one felt swoop.
In the bond resolution, correct.
Okay, I just wanted to be clear on that process and not expecting something down the line. It's all happening right away. Perfect,
When
thank
we
you.
Yes.
make the payments to the developers, because Sarah will send this money to developers. I don't believe we're directly sending it to county, then you will be paying off the county. It's my understanding.
The trustee.
Right. So the bond proceeds will go to a trustee bank who, the agency will select at bond closing. So again, if it's a $5 million bond issue, when we close that bond issue, the trustee bank will get $5 million. And the trust indenture, which is a contract between you and the trustee bank, will specify when, where, how, and why the trustee can release that money to parties that it is directed to release it to in writing. So in the context of an improvement that the redeveloper has already made for $2 million, they will submit requisitions showing us that they have spent the $2 million, and then we will send a requisition to the trustee, say, trustee, you are allowed to send $2 million over to the developer. And it will work through that requisition process no matter where the money is ultimately going to. It's a lockbox process,
It's managed
really.
by the trustee.
Correct.
Okay. And just one final question, because I love process, obviously, is if you go in front of the finance board for 200 million and anything changes, do we have to readdress the finance board? Let's say another 15 million might be needed for something
Yes.
unexpected.
Our approval at the board would only be to issue up to $200 million of bonds. So if all of a sudden in year 14, we realize we need $220 million worth of bonds, we will have to go back to the local finance board at that time for the additional $20 million approval.
And at this point, we believe that the 200 million is what we need to complete the project.
Yes, yes. That is at least from the developer, what the developer has shown us, that is a safe not to exceed number.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Rosetta, did you have a question?
Donna covered most of what I was interested in, but for our executive director, this is only for discussion. We will get a copy of that resolution before us, for us to review before any vote is cast by
You're-
these commissioners, correct?
Right, this is you authorizing Matt to go in front of the local finance board.
Right, but I don't have a copy of what you're pointing at in front of
It's,
me.
the resolution is in the agenda. The resolution states that. The application will be shared to you, but that doesn't require specific separate approval. But when we come back to, once the local finance approve it, then we'll come back to you for a resolution to approve the actual sale of bonds. Okay. Am I clear? No? Okay.
On the agenda, and I didn't see a bond resolution in our
We're
document.
not doing bond resolution tonight.
So-
Okay, that's the question I was
Rosetta,
asking you.
It's just a resolution authorizing them to apply. That's all.
Right, so I've talked tonight about two different resolutions. One is the resolution authorizing an application to the local finance board. That is the resolution that is on the agenda and that I believe you have for consideration tonight. The second thing we've talked about is this bond resolution, the one that actually authorizes the issuance of the bonds. That resolution, you are not being asked to consider tonight. We will come back to you if and when we get local finance board approval, which statutorily is a required first step before you can consider a bond resolution. You will have a bond resolution for your consideration, and at that point, we will ask you to vote on that resolution. Tonight's resolution is the one on the agenda only to authorize submission of an application to local finance board. We are not authorizing any debt tonight, to be as clear as I can.
And just for reference, it's page 29 in the digital version.
Any additional questions or comments for Matt and John? Gentlemen, I want to thank you for taking the patience and the guidance. This is certainly a unique concept, not uncomplicated, which for you probably isn't, but for us it is. It's different in the way in which we think of certain things. So we appreciate the explanation. I'm going to ask, since we've just had this discussion, it's fresh in our mind, if we're going to go into resolutions anyways, if we could move directly to D, which is the resolution for the bond, it might be the best way to get a motion, a second, and then a vote on this.
Chairman, that
Yep.
would be resolution 2025-12.53.
Resolution of the Sayreville Economic and Redevelopment Agency in the County of Middlesex, New Jersey, authorizing application to the local finance board pursuant to NJSA 40A-5A-6, NJSA 40A-12A-29A3, and NJSA 40A-12A-67G.
So moved.
I make a motion.
So we have a motion and a second. Can I get a roll call?
Commissioner DeWise.
Yes.
Fisher,
Yes.
Grillo,
Yes.
Parikh,
Yes.
Roberts,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Chairman Zabrowski.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you, Matt and John.
Moving on, we have Resolution 2025-1250, resolution authorizing execution of certificate of completion for the Insight Development Partners LLC self-storage project located at Block 425, Lot 2.02, 1970 New Jersey State Highway Route 35, which is the former Club Pure site, which Mike had discussed before. Do we have any questions or comments on this resolution?
I do have a question.
Sure.
It was mentioned that we should expect quarterly payments coming after this for the next year.
Yes, Councilman. So the way pilots work is they make the pilot payment the same way you would make your regular property tax payment. So every quarter, they have to make the payments, and the enforcement provisions are the same. If they're in default, you have the same rights as the borough to do tax sales, et cetera. So I guess it's, was it February, May, August, and November will be when the pilot payments will be getting made.
Do we have an anticipated value for those yet?
I knew that a year and a half ago when we did the pilot. I do not know that now, but I can get it for you.
All right, I appreciate it. Thank you.
So to clearly, the statutory authority on pilot billing and collection is in tax collector's office. So we'll be working with them, guiding them to make sure. I think they are doing other pilot collections, and this is just one more. The only thing, we want to make sure that they do bill and collect on a regular basis.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Any other discussion on this resolution?
I will make that motion.
I'll second.
Roll call?
Commissioner DeWise,
Yeah.
Fisher,
Yes.
Grillo,
Yes.
Parikh,
Yes.
Roberts,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
and Chairman Zabrowski.
Yes.
Thank you.
On to 25-1251, resolution acknowledging receipt of and authorizing execution of sub-project allocations for Block 1B, Highway Commercial Area, Riverton, which was previously discussed as well through Mike. Is there any additional comments or questions for this resolution?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you.
Second.
Roll call?
Commissioner DeWise, Fisher,
Yes.
Grillo,
Yes.
Parikh,
Yes.
Roberts,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Chairman Zabrowski.
Yes.
Thank you.
Item C, 25-1252, resolution establishing employees' salaries for calendar year 2026. Questions or comments from our commissioners? If not, can I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
We have a motion and a second. Can I have a roll call?
Commissioner DeWise, Fisher, Grillo,
Yes.
Parikh,
Yes.
Roberts,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Chairman Zabrowski.
Yes.
Thank you.
On to commissioners' comments. Open for discussion by any of our commissioners. Seeing none, I would just ask, actually, well, sorry, go ahead, Donna.
I was just going to say, this is my final opportunity here. And I wanted to say what a pleasure it was serving. And I appreciate everyone's professionalism and eagerness to understand and work together here on this board. I think wonderful things are going to happen for our town moving forward. As you know, we've had a lot to deal with and a lot to fix. And I think we've got the right people here in place to do that. And I want to thank you for all of your efforts. And hopefully I'll be able to participate and provide some useful value to you and our town in the future. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you, Donna. We appreciate those very kind words and remember, this is a team effort and you were a very big part of that team. Your guidance, your questions, your intuitiveness, and really your passion for what can be good for Sayreville was quite guiding, and we appreciate that. Kevin, I was just going to ask you to come up if any items the projects are working on, but also to thank you for the last podcast, which was a two-parter that came out, and the PSA as well.
Views
Yeah.
of Jason.
Justin, he can't go anywhere now without.
I think he tried out to be the new host, and I think he did pretty well. So he'll be the new host. Sure.
Everybody to sit even closer.
I mean, absolutely. Next time, someone will be on top of someone's lap, so we'll make it even more awkward than it was the last time.
Off a little bit. I really didn't enjoy that.
Yeah. Hopefully, moving forward, sometime in the future, when we do podcast. Yeah. I mean, hopefully that'll change one day. But as the chairman has said, and as Zach has said, the website projects portion is now up and available, ready for everyone to view. There's 16 individual pages that can be launched from the landing page. So again, it's once you go to saranj.gov at the top. It's not one of the main ones that are listed. You have to hit more. It's along the top. It's like the third or fourth one down. You can click that and go through it. and look at all the projects within each project. There's a paragraph that gives you a little information about what the project is. There's images of the project, and then there are maybe 5 or 6 accordion drop-down type pages that give information about those projects. Benefits, history. I can't really think of anything else off the top of my head of what else that they do. But yeah, if you want to take a look at those, and again, if anyone has any feedback regarding those, please email me. I'm always open to improving things and helping out. And as the chairman also noted, we filmed 3, I guess it was a 2-parter, so technically 3 podcast episodes last month, edited and posted on social media. One was the chairman out in front of the building, letting everyone in town know that the new speed limit on Main Street is 25 miles per hour. So we actually took the podcast out of the studio, so the chairman did not have to sit next to, didn't have to breathe on Justin. So it's nice when you're able to do that. You're not. No, and listen, the conversation has been had multiple
John
times.
just didn't want to compete with the youthfulness of Justin.
So, and then the other one was a discussion about multiple redevelopment projects. That was a 20-minute long conversation cut into 2 parts. So, yeah, and if anyone has any questions for me, you can email me, text, call. My cell phone's always available, and I'm always available for anyone.
Just a quick question.
Yes, sir.
So I see that on the Sayreville page for economic development, it basically mirrors our website, but there's no direct link to our
On
website.
Sayreville's website.
Is that correct, or am I missing something? So we should definitely have
Yeah, we've been,
Sayreville folks
Tom is going to
have the
address
link
that.
to our website.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we have requested the link to now the Sayreville page should have a link to our site rather than have any information on there. But
Yeah, because that's the first result that comes up on a Google search is the Sayreville economic
That's right.
website. We're number 2. So if somebody clicks the first one, they may not
They're not
actually
finding
get to
out
the
what
one
they're
that you put all the work into.
over time, as we add more stuff on our site,
Mhm.
eventually whenever they want Sayreville Economic, we'll be on the front of that. But I want to thank Kevin.
Looks great.
We didn't know where we're going to end up when we started, but we are doing better. We still have a couple of more, commissioners
Yeah.
podcast that started, but it didn't go the way we wanted. So we're going to work on that next year. And there are other projects that we want to, as we develop projects that we want to start putting on that. So thank you, Kevin.
We also
It's
do have a
really working
YouTube
well.
page as well. So if anyone wants to go on YouTube and follow the page, it's Sarah NJ. And that's where all the podcasts will be posted from, and then posted from YouTube to social media. So, okay, perfect. Thank you, everyone.
Chairman, if I may, I want to thank all the commissioner for voting on the salary resolution that shows you have a confidence in staff. I think we have a great staff working very well. Our records are up to date. All the information is flowing. Documents are created and stored properly. So things are going forward, and I think your support in passing the resolution is appreciated. I also want to thank, 2025 is the full year that I have been on the board here. I know I most part of 24, but I was also learning. We were all learning that. I think 2025, we made a great stride, great progress. There's a lot of projects that is happening that, didn't even think about it. So I appreciate you putting confidence in me to lead this Sayreville Redevelopment Agency and allow me to continue to go forward with the new plan, new projects. And I really appreciate all of you. And I know this is an annual things where we have a reappointment, but I hope that we will have this entire board back next year. I think I have full faith in the council to continue to support this entire board, come back and continue to work, because we have a lot more things to do. So thank you all.
Thank you, Manchu. Can I get a motion to open to public?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Anybody from the public like to speak this evening?
To help keep this meeting as organized as possible, we ask members of the public to approach, state your name, and strive to limit your comments to 5 minutes. All comments this evening should refer to the redevelopment and agenda items per NJSA 10-4-12A and the Sayreville Economic and Redevelopment Agency's rules. In the event a member of the public has questions they seek answers to, an appointment can be made during regular business hours with the agency's office. Thank you.
Anybody from the public like to speak this evening? Anybody from the public? Anybody from the public?
Make a motion to close the public portion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Before we do get a motion to adjourn, I just want to thank everybody for a job well done this entire 2025. I think Amanchu spoke it brilliantly before in that there have been great strides over the last year. We've had great discussion. And I'm looking forward to what 2026 has to come for the board as well as Sayreville. So I thank you all so much, and I wish you all a very Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and a very blessed New Year. Can I get a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Second, Merry Christmas.
Merry
Okay.
Christmas, Happy Holidays.
Thank you, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Hear that from everybody?